Hello, greetings everybody. I'm Pastor Zach, ELCA missionary, currently serving in Budapest, Hungary as the coordinator for the Young Adults in Global Mission Central Europe program. And today I want to talk about one of the key tenets of the ELCA's accompaniment model for mission, and that is vulnerability. Now perhaps you've heard of author and speaker Brené Brown. She has some incredible things to share about vulnerability. And she talks about vulnerability, and I'll paraphrase and quote a little bit here by saying, the more we protect ourselves from being vulnerable, the more we grow fearful and disconnected with the people in our lives and the world around us. And so then being vulnerable means the opposite to this, which means engaging fully and openly with the world around us. And vulnerability being the courage of putting ourselves out there to experience the world. I want us to think for a second about Jesus in the world. And before Jesus was born, that we celebrate on Christmas, think about the Trinity. The Trinity just kind of talking with itself and coming to the conclusion, yep, I'm doing it. I'm going to earth. Jesus, born, living a life on earth. God put God's self out there to experience the world in a new way for God, to learn, to teach, to make friendships, to feel connected, but also to feel the not so fun things we feel, the disconnectedness, the isolation, pain, death, and of course, resurrection. Well, as a missionary, I too need to be vulnerable. And I'll share one of the sort of the bigger pieces of vulnerability that I experience and I'm a part of in the mission work that I do. And that was the initial piece of accepting the call to be a missionary in Central Europe almost 5 years ago now. When accepting this call, I was accepting the call as a supportive spouse. My spouse, Pastor Rachel Eskison, was receiving the official call to be the Young Adults in Global Mission Central Europe country coordinator, and I was coming again to support her, and there were a few loose ends for me. Yes, I had begun my studies to be a pastor, and I was nearly there, but I didn't know how it would end. I didn't know what I would do for my internship. I wasn't sure if there'd be any extra coursework, so there was just a lot of loose ends, but it made sense to follow that call, to come and begin serving without really knowing what would happen. And I have to say, throughout the past 5 years, I've made some incredible friends, have met some incredible colleagues. I had a chance to finish my studies. I was able to do my internship at a multicultural, multilingual church here in Budapest. I have experienced ministry that is exciting and challenging, and situations and things that I never could have imagined before being here. And the ministry that I continue to be a part of with the Young Adults in Global Mission program is an enormous blessing in my life as I work with the young folks from the United States, and also with the communities here in Hungary and Serbia. So I want to leave you with a couple of questions. If you can think of some times in your life where you took a vulnerable step out there, a movement into some vulnerability, and how did you end up experiencing the world around you? And where was God at work in your life? Or perhaps maybe you're being called to something new, and it's going to require some vulnerability. Perhaps that's out there for you as well. I really hope that these thoughts on vulnerability, my own experience, as you've thought about it a little bit more, and the ways God has shown up or may show up in the future for you in your own life, have been edifying and faith strengthening. I wish you a blessed day and all the best.